My name's Cameron. I actually made this intro before I went to the inauguration on Monday, but basically from that video, what you need to know is I bought a ticket to the inauguration just hours before it moved inside, but I still decided I wanted to go. One, because my travel wasn't refundable, and two, because if the inauguration moved inside, then what was happening outside would become a lot more interesting. Before I left, I thought it'd be useful to ask three of my friends in the dorm if they had any questions that I could answer by going to the inauguration. I asked one person who was enthusiastic about the inauguration, a second person who was not enthusiastic and often felt pretty anxious and upset about the inauguration, and a third person who felt indifferent. The enthusiastic person wanted to know how and if Trump would respond to being the most controversial figure in seemingly the whole world in his inaugural address. The second person, who wasn't enthusiastic, said she had no questions and didn't have any questions that could be answered in the inauguration or at the address. And the third person just wanted to know if there was going to be political violence, which I think is pretty fair. In my trip to DC yesterday, I set out to answer those two questions and also answer some questions for myself about the inauguration. Um, this video details my experience there and what happened.
It is currently 5:30 in the morning. I'm walking to the train station right now for my 6:01 departure time, and it is so cold out. I think now would be a good time in this journey to mention that I am going alone. Sorry, Mom, I know I told you to go with someone, but I really wanted to go. Alright, I've made it to Union Station in DC. There are a lot of drug dogs here, a lot of Trump supporters, but plan is to get some coffee and then head over to the Capitol. So it's been a while since the last video. The entire city is shut down. So I was walking back and forth with all the Trump supporters to seemingly Capital One Arena and then the Capitol, and both are shut down, so I can't even go into either. But finally, I got some coffee. Now I'm standing in front of Meet the Press, and all the news reporters are outside this building, like. I guess documenting Trump's speech when he's out there, whatever happens at 11:30. But honestly, my main takeaway from being here so far is it truly feels surreal or even dystopian because the entire city's shut down. People are just like, there's a t-shirt salesman on every corner, and there's just barbed wire fencing across every street. Another thing that you could tell here is a lot of the people here right now are not from DC. They're just coming in from all over the country, of course, to watch the inauguration. All the DCers are, I don't know, I guess inside, staying at home today because their city shut down. But you could tell that these people don't know their way around, and it's a big logistical concern for all of the security officers and police agents and federal agents that are patrolling the city right now. So for them, at least, it's more confusion than excitement because they don't even know where to go to get into the arena. I don't know. I haven't been down there in a couple minutes, but it remains to be seen how they're going to end up doing.
Folks, this is close to the public.
Woo! We got JD Vance swearing in quietly as we speak.
All right, so after a long wait, I made it through the security checkpoint. I'm now where the presidential motorcade is supposed to be, where the parade was originally slotted to go through. Took a while to get through the security checkpoint, I think because a lot of people didn't realize that the parade isn't happening. After talking with some Secret Service agents just now, they confirmed that for me. But again, the confusion continues. People don't really know where they're going, what they're doing, or how to do it. Stay tuned. I thought now would be a good time to answer the questions that my classmates asked last night. For the first one, I'd say that I don't think Trump would address something like that. I mean, it's not really in his interest to do so, and I think that was confirmed by that inauguration address that I watched in the security line. And on the second question, I think the Secret Service is doing a great job here. I don't think anyone's getting through. I don't think anything weird's going to happen. And if it were to happen, I think it already would have. So I think the answer is no to both. I wish I could report something more interesting, but I think it's safer that I can't. Last thing while I'm sitting here, I just wanted to add my own question about this inauguration, just I think subconsciously why I came here to D.C. in the first place. And that's if this country is really as divided as I think it is, or as much as I hear it is. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. And I'm going to spend some time a little bit warmer to better explain my thoughts. Now that I'm back in Williamsburg, I'll elaborate on what I meant by this in DC. I really think that most people want the same things. They want to be healthy, they want to be happy, and they care about their families and their friends. And being in DC clarified a lot of that for me. Because when we're talking about something other than politics, people on both sides are honestly a lot more personable than the news make them out to be, even the most extreme supporters. I think the MAGA t-shirt salesmen and whatever other merch they were selling are great examples of this theory. Because when I was in DC and it was around noon and Trump was getting sworn in as our 47th president, most of those guys in the corners were not even watching the inauguration. They could care less. They cared more about selling the t-shirts and hats that they were there to sell. And this clarified that theory for me, because I could see that they were there just to make money. They weren't there because they love Trump. They were there so they can make money to provide for their families and to give themselves a better life, which goes back to the same principles that everyone cares about, not just the Trump supporters. The reason why these people were selling Trump shirts and hats throughout the entire campaign trail instead of Kamala Harris shirts and hats is because Trump is a lot more marketable than the Democrats are. He's really good at conveying his message, and he's good at making people believe it. Whether you like him or not, he's a great salesman, and that's how he's marketed himself his entire life, to stay in the public spotlight for over, 40 years now. Particularly for the presidential race, this is important because nowadays politics are what make people invoke their deepest emotions. And if you can capitalize on those emotions, you can guarantee yourself a vote. Which is why it's easy to understand that the most vulnerable people in our country are often the most politically extreme. This assessment nearly perfectly follows Andrew Callahan of Channel 5 News' radicalization theory. He says that the true catalyst of radicalization is a deep personal tragedy, or some sort of negative canon event that impacts someone's personal life that collapses them of their three core needs. That's security, significance, and connection. And when those are collapsed, it invokes a vengeful trauma response, which leads them into emotionally charged politics. But when you discuss something other than politics with these emotionally charged people, they're a lot more personable and introspective than you might have otherwise believed. For example, when I first got to DC, I was asked by a couple to take their picture in front of the Capitol building in the middle of the street. They had shirts on that said that I survived January 6th and said they were hoping for a pardon from President Trump, leading me to believe that they were there 4 years ago. But talking to them about their picture and how it turned out, they seemed perfectly nice and kind and very thankful for what I had done for them. Outside of their politics, they seemed like pretty nice people. So if there was some sort of takeaway, I'd say it's this. It's easier to find commonality with people if you continue to talk to them, no matter their political beliefs. Because when we stop talking to people, we lose that personal connection that's often needed to provide the empathy and sympathy or sensibility that you need to bridge the gap across the political aisle with people that you disagree with. So, the inauguration is pretty much over. It ended a couple hours ago. Now I'm just enjoying my time in DC. I'm currently walking on the reflection pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial, which is kind of sick since Fresno over. I don't know. For a Floridian, that's really cool. And yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy dinner with a friend from high school who goes to Georgetown, and hopefully I get to the Lincoln Memorial without falling on my face. I already mentioned them before, and they're probably not watching, but I want to thank Andrew Callahan and the Channel 5 team. I obviously love all you guys do and everything you put out. You are a big inspiration on why I had the confidence to just take my phone and a couple ideas up to DC all by myself and have the confidence to go through with it in the first place after thinking about it for quite a while now. So if you're from William & Mary and you're watching this, you should definitely check out Channel 5's new movie, Dear Kelly, where a lot more experienced people and knowledgeable about themes that I explored in this video tackle those same challenges, but do so for a lot longer and a lot more into detail with better resources. So you should definitely check them out. I don't mean this to be an ad, but I really do believe in the work that they're doing and independent journalists all across the country. Yeah, that about does it for this video. I'm new to filming, I'm new to editing, so I hope this turns out okay and I hope you enjoyed. I was really happy that I was able to get up to DC with just my phone and a couple ideas in my head and see what was up there. There's also a corresponding article that I wrote in addition to this video that kind of explores the same themes a little bit more in depth. Hopefully that will be published in our school newspaper shortly, and when it does, I'll update the description of this video with that link.